I'm Alicia Rye. Welcome back to Quarantine Cuisine, a pantry for the pandemic. Still working on that tagline. Today, we are going to talk about something that has been making headlines, and that's bread. This is actually not something my mom taught me. I have been a little obsessed with making bread for the last year or so, and it's all because I moved to LA and I have no more access to my beloved Wegmans. If you're from the Northeast, you know what Wegmans is. It is a lifestyle and also a grocery store. But it's a great grocery store. And they have this bread at Wegmans, and it's called the Tuscan bread. And it is in their bakery. You get a loaf of it, they'll slice it for you. Sometimes it has like a little bit of salt on top. And since I left the Wegmans area, I have been trying to recreate this bread. I have looked everywhere for a recipe. I've tried every recipe on the internet. I make it for my nephews all the time because they're very honest with me and will tell me straight up that it's not it. I just haven't been able to recreate it. I've come pretty close, but not there. So I know Wegmans probably makes you sign like an NDA or something like that, but if there's any current or former Wegmans bakers watching this, I would never ask you to violate your oath, even though my DMs are open, and I would never tell anybody if you were to tell me what is in that bread and how to make it. Tell anybody. But you shouldn't do that. That's very terrible of me to ask you to do that. Anyway, so I've been trying to recreate this bread. I've tried, I have a bread maker. I have tried to do it in a Dutch oven. I've tried to make it on a pizza stone, and I think I'm just kind of resigned to just having very good bread that's not quite there. I do have a really good recipe for a bread maker bread. I'll put that, below. But I know not a lot of people have bread makers right now. I know a lot of people are trying their hand at making bread now, which I very much applaud. I'm very excited for you guys to find this out. I know flour is in short supply everywhere. Yeast is in short supply everywhere. But if you can get your hands on some flour or some yeast, definitely, please, let's try this, or if you have it in your house. The alternative to yeast is this. It is a sourdough starter. You can make sourdough bread with it, and you don't need yeast. If you make sourdough bread in the bread maker, you do need yeast because it doesn't rise enough, but that's a different story. You can make your own sourdough starter. I don't know how, because somebody gave me this one. But there's recipes for the upward on the internet, and I know a lot of people are trying their hand at making it. And I think that's really cool. Sourdough starter is one of those things where, there's not a lot in here right now, but if I fed it, so if I gave it like flour and water and just let it sit overnight, it would sort of pop up and explode. It would get active. And when it's active, that means there's yeast inside of it, so you can bake without yeast. And you just need like a little cup, like that much. I didn't even have this much to start. I had like a couple spoonfuls full, maybe like a cupful. And it lasts forever. And you can like sort of trade it around. I know there's people, in my book, Girl Gone Viral, one of the things that the heroine carries around with her is this starter from her mother. She takes it everywhere. She traveled all over the world. She takes like a cup of it with her everywhere, and then she can make stuff with it anywhere. And it's like her mom's with her, And I know people, they're like, oh yeah, my great grandmother started this starter in the Great Depression. Or like, this starter has been around since the Mayflower or whatever. So if you're interested in starting your own starter, I mean, what a story that would be, right? To like pass it on to your grandkids and say like, yes, in the pandemic of 2020, I started this starter. And they'll be like, oh, Grandma, that's so cool, but can you please stop shipping us toilet paper? We're fine, we're good. That's the scar that we're gonna carry. Today, we're gonna make it with yeast, flour, water, salt. That's it, 4 ingredients. You don't need a bread maker, very quick and easy. I already made the dough. I let it sit overnight for about, maybe about 13, 14 hours by now. And it was very easy to make. It's 2 cups of bread flour. If you don't have bread flour, you can't find bread flour, you can make it with all-purpose flour. It's gonna come out denser. 1 teaspoon of salt, half a teaspoon of yeast, and a cup of water. That's it. It'll make about 6 rolls. And now that it's like risen, it's so gross looking. It'll be delicious, but it's gross looking right now. It's kind of gross. It's sticky. We're gonna plop it on the work surface right there. Make sure you wash your hands first. I washed my hands really well before I did this. We're all washing our hands a lot right now, right? If anybody has any hand lotion recommendations, please give them to me. I'm really big on CeraVe right now. That's my sister's recommendation. She's a dermatologist. I'm gonna cover it really well in all this flour. Oh, look at that, it's not so gooey and sticky anymore. And we're just gonna stretch it out a little bit. Get it nice and floured. There's something very relaxing about this. I actually kind of miss making bread by hand when I put it in the bread machine. You don't even have to knead it that much, just enough. Yeah, look at that. And if you have a bench scraper, this goes even easier. Then you can kind of cut it and do it. This will make, sometimes I make this into a loaf. Today we're gonna do rolls, because I saw that somewhere and I like the idea of it. And you just want it floured enough that it makes easy rolls. And it's okay if it's not perfect. Sometimes things aren't perfect, and they're still good things. There we go. And make a little ball. And you know how to make it artisanal? You kind of make it a little craggy on top. And we'll just pop them here like this. Make up the rest of them. I never make all my rolls the same size. Sometimes somebody gets the daddy roll. Sometimes they get the baby roll. Well, that's a real baby roll. I'll add some more to it. It's very sticky. And if it is really sticky, then you just roll it in some more flour. And it gets rid of the stickiness. That like clicking noise you hear in the background, that's my oven. I don't have a great oven. It's slowly preheating. It's preheating to about 425. And what we're gonna do actually after we finish putting these together, all of these together, so sticky. Yep. Make them artisanal. Just means put the seams up top. After we're done with these, we're gonna let them rise for another 20 minutes. And that's what I really like about these rolls, is because it doesn't take that long to put them together, and the rest of the time you're just letting it rise, or it's cooking. And honestly, like, where have you got to be right now, right? You can let it rise forever. Just pop them in a bowl, let it sit on your countertop, put some plastic on top. Very easy. That's a little baby roll. And look, if you cannot absolutely get flour anywhere, again, try your local Asian grocery stores. This is the tip that I keep giving you. Because a lot of them will have flour, and maybe they won't have the exact flour that you're looking for, maybe like whole wheat flour or something like that. But you can figure something out. You're resourceful. I believe in you. Or actually, my local Hispanic grocery store makes wonderful rolls in their bakery. There is bread to be found in places. Don't panic if you can't get flour, if you can't get yeast, or if you don't know how to make your own starter. It's okay. Oh, I did get some yeast on Amazon though for my mom. I had it shipped to her. So, I don't know, maybe it'll come back in stock. Just keep looking. And you too can be your own little Pillsbury bread maker. Here's our last little guy. 6 little rolls. We are gonna let it rise for about 20 minutes now while we do other things. You know, Love is Blind isn't gonna watch itself. There's a lot of good shows on Netflix. Sometimes I think I've reached the end of Netflix and then I realize, oh no, I've only just begun. So many great shows. I have not watched that Tiger King show because that seems weird. This is not the thing to watch if you like things pretty. It'll be delicious. All right, we'll let it rise, 20 minutes. We're gonna put it in the oven. It's gonna bake in about 15. Take them out and we'll have some delicious rolls to eat. And they're done. Look how pretty they are, my little bread babies. So let's, oh, they're very hot still. Got them a nice little golden brown. Whew. Hang on, I got a bread knife. Let's cut it into one. Look at that baby. So delicious. It's got all the nooks and crannies. I probably could have baked them a little bit longer, but they're cooked through. That's all I really care about. Oh, whew. They're very hot, so I should probably let them cool. I heard somewhere that you're supposed to let bread cool, like before you cut into it, because it's still cooking inside when you take it out. It's so hard not to just stuff it in your mouth when it's nice and fresh like that. Oh, so delicious. It's gonna be so good with butter on it. Again, when our grandchildren, great-great-grandchildren, like 50 years from now, no, great-great-grandchildren, like 150 years from now, we're gonna live a long time. They're gonna be like, why are you so sick of bread? I'll have to say like, yeah, well, in the pandemic of 2020, we stuffed bread in our mouth constantly. Well, I did. I don't know about you guys. Oh man, I'm so excited for this. I know it's very hot, but I'm gonna put it in my mouth. So good. 4 ingredients: water, salt, yeast, flour. That's it. If you can't get yeast or flour, try the sourdough. Or just wait a bit. It'll come back. Oh, these are so good. Put some butter on these and eat them. But thank you so much for joining me today on Quarantine Cuisine.